Well, I didn't think anybody could top Colleen Wick until Justin took it. Oh man, I tell you, I forgot what I was going to say. These two marvelous people are just way, 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 way beyond belief. I had a line that says, "Hi, I'm David Durenberger and I'm aging into my disability." But I am. I'm supposed to be in California, but I wrecked my left shoulder, so I decided to stay home and be with you. But, God, I'm so impressed, and I'm also kind of choked up. I hope you can tell, because there is nothing like the gift of public service. My son Charlie over here has been a public servant in the state of Minnesota for his whole life. And I started here 50 and a half years ago, up in the governor's office as executive secretary to Harold Evander. And my learning curve began then, and it's going today. It's just absolutely incredible what a gift it is to be in the profession of learning from other people. It is just amazing. And I have to say that to you because the impression you get from everybody in politics and government today is they ain't learning anything. I mean, my own party spent 7 years trying to wreck health reform by calling it repeal and replace, and they've spent 6 months trying to figure out what they mean. They have no idea what they're talking about. Why? Because not one of them has taken the time to master what you have mastered by your own experiences with people with developmental and other disabilities. And some of you say, well, it was just happened to us, it happened in our family or something like that. But no, it went way beyond that. It's way beyond that. It's a gift we all receive at birth, and some of us treasure it and use it, and enrich it all the time, and others stifle it with greed or denial or God knows what. And I must say that right now we're at a point in time in the history of this country. I go to Peter Claver, the Black Catholic Church up 94 near Lexington, and every Sunday when I sit there, I go past after I go up front and get the communion. I come back and there is Josie Johnson. Josie Johnson is a career leader for civil rights in Minnesota. Been a regent at the University of Minnesota. She's almost 90 years old, nice gray hair, and she sits all by herself over on the left side, and so sometimes instead of going up the right, I go up the left. Catholics have bad habits sometimes. So I go up the left side, and today I just sat down next to Josie. I put my arm around her and said, Josie, this guy, stop thinking about this guy. Don't even listen to him anymore, because we are all better than that. And you have just been treated to almost an hour of proof we are better than that. And you'll ask yourself after you listen to Colleen's history, why has it taken us so long? Why has it taken us so long when the Swedes were way ahead of us, right? But then she tells you, in Texas, they're still using institutionalization. So, yeah, this is a great country. And this is a great country with huge potential. But the potential is in each of us. I found a picture that I showed Sarah, who's my oldest granddaughter, this morning. Oh, here it is. Here's a picture of the senator with little Sarah. Little Sarah is like, in this picture, a month old or something less than that. Now she's sitting back there, a graduate of Bethel, and she's in one of the health professions. The reason I thought I would show you this picture, and I just found it, is because on May 11th of 1994, the Senate was having its first hearing on the Clinton health reform bill. Long awaited. Hillary Clinton's in charge, the health reform bill. And so we're having the first hearing, and Senator Ted Kennedy, the famous leader in health reform, is in the chair. And at some point in the program, he takes out his gavel. He notices that I've been going in and out periodically from the meeting. I'm the Republican on the committee. Nancy Kassebaum, my friend and colleague, is the chair, and I'm the health guy on the committee. So I'm going in and out to the side room. So the last time I come out, I seem to have like tears in my eyes or something, and so the chairman hits the gavel like this. He says, I want to call this hearing to recess. And I want to be the first in America to make this announcement. Today was born in St. Paul, Minnesota, Sarah Marie Durenberger. And he gives her weight, he gives her height, and he said, now we know why Senator Durenberger has been kind of grouchy about this health reform. Can you believe that happening in today's United States Senate? How did he know? I don't know. Except that's who we were. We were friends. Our kids grew up together. We knew a lot more about each other than we probably thought we did. And one of the reasons was we learned to share experiences that were common to the people of our state and those who could express those experiences with everyone else. And then you would find people just like you from another state who hadn't met people like Colleen or Justin or whoever it might be. And you'd start coming closer and closer and closer together. And so it wasn't a magic moment. It's what the United States Senate was always intended to be. I can tell you, and I won't today, exactly what happened, how this has been torn down in the last 20-some years, why we have a Donald Trump as President of the United States. I can tell you exactly why that has happened. But it's not America. It's not who we are. It's not who we can be. It's not who Justin is. It's not who Colleen is. It's not who Mom and Dad are. It's not who any of us are. I don't think it's even the people in this building. They talk like it sometimes, but I don't think it's even them. They're living in communities just like we live in. Don't you think they hear the same thing? Don't you think they see the same thing? Don't you think they feel the same thing inside? They just haven't learned how to translate that into action, which is the gift of all the people in this room and the stories that you've heard today. I sat here because, listening to Colleen's story, because my wife Susan, who's on a plane to California today, just finished a book that's going to be published next April by the Minnesota Press on how did Luther Youngdahl, was he persuaded to take on this institutionalization in Minnesota back in 1949 to victory in 1950, which was snatched away by real conservative Republicans in 1951. So he took a job in Washington as a federal judge and never came back, and the whole movement started to go like this. And Susan captured in this book what Colleen was talking to you about who we are as Minnesotans, who we were in the 1940s, the heroes and the heroines. And she captures a few of our prejudices. Jerry Joseph, then Jerry, what were they? Hoffner, yes, Jerry Hoffner, was a brand new reporter at the Minneapolis Tribune. She wanted to go to the New York Times. Can you imagine a woman at the New York Times? Wow, not in those days. But she was going to go to the New York Times. They talked her into staying at the Tribune. They promised her this story. She went to see the governor, and he said, if you publish, and she said, I'm going to go into all 7 institutions. And she said, if you do and you publish stories, I'm going to have your job. Cool. So she goes back to her boss, Bauer Hawthorne at the Trib, and he says, forget it. So he goes with her, tells the governor she's going to do these stories regardless. You know, he'll get to see them before they go in the paper, but he can't change a word of it. So she writes these stories. And a year and a half later, she gets the highest reward for journalism in Minnesota from the Minnesota Newspaper Association. Why? Because it was a really good story, number 2, and because they thought She was a he. Believe it or not, the Minnesota Newspaper Association thought Jerry Joseph was a man. Okay, so we've come a long way, right? We've got a long way to go. What happened yesterday in Charlottesville, where Charlie went to school, Virginia, is still happening all over America, you know? Yes, we have a long way to go, but we have built the capacity to get there. And not just in this room, but in tens and hundreds of thousands of people in this state. Our capacity is still there. We are who we are. Our institutions are really unique institutions. So that isn't exactly what I planned to say, but I'm not going to tell you the story of the American Disabilities Act. It's been told and retold. I got to tell you, the greatest day in my life was that time in the third or fourth week in June, sitting on the mall, watching with thousands of people as President George H.W. Bush came out to the podium and the band struck up "Hail to the Chief." A whole bunch of people stood up, and all you could hear in the place was, "Down in front." Down in front. And I knew I was in the right place. I knew I was in the right place. Down in front. Wow. What a gift is public service. What a gift is the teaching profession, the point that Justin makes. What a gift is any one of your opportunities, the fact that you're here today. And the question for all of us is, what are we going to do with it? You know, are we waiting for somebody else to take the lead? You know, will we do it? When will we do it? How will we get started? And so the future, the last thing, because I was asked to make some reference to healthcare. I've been at this for 51 years too, which is a heck of a long time to say you didn't get any place, because they're still doing R&R. But you know, every once in a while you come up against a crisis when the biggest industry in America, a $3.5 trillion industry, is about to face the reality of wake up, find out what's wrong, and get it right. And Obamacare got most of it right. But Republicans spent 7 years trying to belittle it and tear it down and make sure it didn't work. It's that simple. I'm saying that as a Republican. It's that simple. It will work. It can work. In America is a place that it can work. Because we do believe, and I've got the data from your study back at Minnesota Citizens on Health Cost Containment, that tells us that by a fraction of 80 to 20, Minnesotans believe that it is our responsibility to make sure that all of us have access to high quality health care, which only means it has to be affordable and it has to be effective. And the people that know how to do both are in the health professions today. We just need to change the incentives. And a lot of us know what it takes to do that. So once they get through this repeal and replace, Trump, blaming everybody under the sun for stuff, once we get through that, we'll be back at it. Again, because it's the right thing to do. This is the right place to do it, maybe the only place to do it. So thank you for the gift of being here today, and if there's anything I can do to add any dimension, anything I've said, I'm glad to do it. Yeah. Thank you.